How is it going, everybody? We have a jam-packed episode here on the Brock at the Buzzer podcast, episode 6. In this episode, we're going to talk about last night's great win for the Cavaliers over the Indiana Pacers, the NFL QB landscape completely changing over the last 2 days, and the Bills are making roster moves to get themselves under the cap before the new league year begins. But before we get started, I'd like to tell you that all of my social media links are in the Linktree link below. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and a link to the channel itself to view all of my previous uploads. And finally, like this video, share this video, and subscribe. So, talking about the Cavs beating the Pacers. The Cavs' dog mentality beats the Pacers last night. Coming into Tuesday's game against the Pacers, the Cavs were coming off an impressive win over the Toronto Raptors at home on Sunday night. The biggest question was, how would the Cavs fare without All-Star center Jared Allen? The answer was clear. Play with a dog mentality. They did just that, beating the Pacers 127 to 124. First, these stats for the victorious Cleveland Cavaliers. Darius Garland had a career-high 41 points and 13 assists. Evan Mobley had 22 points and 12 rebounds in his first start at center of his career. Lauri Markkanen had another great game. He had 21 points and 5 rebounds. Isaac Okoro had 11 points, made big shots when the Cavs needed him to. And Dean Wade, who got the start in Allen's place, had 10 points and 5 rebounds. For the Indiana Pacers, every Pacer that played last night got double figures, but obviously it wasn't enough to beat the Cavs. Tyrese Halliburton had 15 points and 9 assists. Goga Bitadze off the Pacer bench had 15 points and 9 rebounds. Jalen Smith, also off the Pacer bench, had 15 points and 5 rebounds. Dwayne Washington Jr., also off the Pacer bench, had 15 points. Buddy Hield had 14 points and 8 assists. Malcolm Brogdon had a quiet night, but his passing was on point. He had 12 points and 12 assists. Isaiah Jackson had 11 points and 8 rebounds. And Chris Duarte, off the Pacer bench, had 11 points. The Cavs' next game is Friday against the top team in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat, at 8 p.m. Eastern on Bally Sports Ohio and NBA League Pass. What went right for the Cavs? Garland and Mobley proving that they are both stars, combined for 63 points, 17 rebounds, 16 assists, and a combined plus-minus of plus 22. Both dominated last night. If those numbers don't tell the story, go back and watch the game footage if you have League Pass, and you'll see what I am talking about. Lamar Stevens and Dean Wade both made clutch plays late on both the offensive and defensive ends of the floor late in the fourth quarter. Both combined for a plus-minus of a plus 21. That just shows you how impactful those two guys were last night. A concern, though, for the Cavs moving forward is the Cavs bench. Last night, the bench was outscored 56 to 22. Especially Jetty Osman, who was a ghost last night, taking bad shots and his defense being subpar at best. That resulted him in only playing 11 minutes last night. And this must improve this weekend with games against Miami and Chicago, two teams the Cavs are currently chasing as they travel to both Miami on Friday and Chicago on Saturday. A late piece of news that I just wrote into my notes here is the Cavs have signed center Moses Brown to a 10-day contract. That is according to Shams Kamara of The Athletic. He has averaged 3.1 points and 2.3 rebounds with the Dallas Mavericks this season in 26 games. He adds more center depth with, of course, the absence of All-Star Jared Allen. The NFL QB landscape has changed dramatically. Russell Wilson, let's start there, is headed to the Denver Broncos for 3 players, including quarterback Drew Lock and tight end Noah Fant. 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. And here is my opinion on the deal. Also, Denver received a 4th-round pick along with Wilson in return. This move by Denver is to go win a Super Bowl. Simple as that. Yes, Wilson's health is declining and has declined over the last few seasons, but clearly Denver has all of its eggs in one basket. For Seattle, it looks like a rebuild is well underway. Now on to Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers stays in Green Bay, and here is my opinion. There is no surprises here as the Green Bay Packers give Aaron Rodgers the best chance to win a Super Bowl coming out of the NFC, and that is very, very simple to understand. Wentz to Washington for picks. Earlier today, the Indianapolis Colts traded Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders in exchange for picks. No surprise in Wentz led the Colts' epic collapse in missing the playoffs last season. And for Washington, this looks extremely desperate because Carson Wentz has been nothing but suspect over his last couple of seasons. And the Bills fans, don't worry, especially with the 2 moves that I will talk about later in the show or just in a few moments. The Bills will make moves to improve this roster because, yes, there are holes in this roster, and I believe the Bills will do whatever they can to improve this roster because I think this is seriously a Super Bowl or bust year for the Bills. And finally, the Bills have officially released linebacker AJ Klein and offensive lineman John Feliciano. The team announced Wednesday that they have released veteran linebacker AJ Klein. This move saves the Bills $5.6 million in cap space this offseason. In 2021, Klein had no sacks from the linebacker position and honestly was very unproductive on the NFL's top-ranked defense. And here is my opinion on the move. The Bills needed to make this move to help add a player or players to this roster. This is a move that the Bills needed to make. And why do I say that? Simply put, AJ Klein does not deserve $5.6 million on a very, very good football team. Today, the Bills have now officially released offensive lineman John Feliciano, which, again, saves the Bills $3.5 million against the cap this season. because I have it as a 1.9 million, because at the time I was typing this, I really didn't understand how the dead cap money worked. I thought it was much like the NBA, meaning if you cut a player and you have dead cap, you have to keep it in your budget and you can't spend it. And that is how the NBA works. But the NFL is differently, or works differently, because Feliciano's dead cap hit is bonus money according to multiple reports. So again, it doesn't go against your cap because it is bonus money. And here's my opinion on this move by Brandon Beane in the Buffalo Bills front office. This is another move the Bills needed to make because, to put it bluntly, Feliciano struggled with injury this season, and he seemed very unhappy here in Buffalo. And that'll do it for today's episode. Once again, I'm your host, Brock Kowalski. Once again, all of my social media links are in a Linktree link down below. And finally, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe. I'll see you all on the next one. And by the way, I probably won't be back for a couple days because the Cavs obviously have a back-to-back and so on and so forth. But, again, I'll be back very, very soon with episode 7 of the Brock the Buzzer podcast. I'll see you all very soon.